Zainab Hawa Bangura, the UN's envoy for sexual violence in conflict, sat down with the news centre to discuss the new and emerging threats facing civilians around the world.
The first most important and difficult trend that we have experienced is sexual violence being used as a tactic of terror. And this is because of the rise of extremists.
Ms. Bangura, who presented her latest report to the Security Council, said that non-state actors like Boko Haram and ISIL are a huge threat to tackling the spread of sexual violence.
I think the biggest challenge we have is a lack of understanding on the strategies that these people use. And I think that has made it extremely difficult to access, to engage them, to understand what is driving them, what they do.
To address this situation, staying engaged is key, Ms. Bangura said.
The most important thing is how we can make sure we have more community engagements, with the communities who are involved in this crime, as well as the community leaders, religious leaders, because that will give us a better understanding to be able to know the extent of the crime, the people who are being targeted, and to respond in terms of services for the victims.
From match fixing to drug trafficking to violent extremism, 21st century crime no longer has any borders. As the UN Crime Congress winds down in Doha, Qatar, delegates gear up to develop a sustainable strategy for global justice and to tackle the most pressing law and order issues of the day. Among these is the scourge of human trafficking and migrant smuggling, which just this week claimed hundreds of lives in the Mediterranean Sea.
I'm saddened with this and other tragedies that followed, many others that have happened in the recent few months in the Mediterranean. People are dying in spite of all our efforts, and that is unacceptable.
In the first 4 months of this year alone, over 31,000 migrants crossed the Mediterranean for Europe, trafficked by ruthless smugglers demanding extortionate fees for what is often a fatal journey. Speaking from Doha, UNODC Chief Yuri Fedotov urged member states to finance the UN's voluntary trust fund aimed at helping trafficking victims recover from their dangerous journeys.
We have to pass from the words to the action as soon as possible. We need to protect rights of migrants. We need to support them. We need to protect women and especially children, including unaccompanied children.
As 007, Daniel Craig is used to having a license to kill. But now Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has given him a license to save, appointing him the first UN global advocate for the elimination of landmines and explosive hazards. Working on the landmine threat is a long-time ambition for Mr. Craig, one that grew out of his experiences filming in a heavily mined area of Cambodia.
There were lots and lots of children around, and I know I was nervous. I mean, I don't mind admitting that, but I just can't imagine what it was like for the parents of those children. And I think that's what struck me most, is that, the fear that any type of unexploded ordnance, that it's just littered around after conflict, and what that does to a local population. It stops them being normal, stops them having a normal life, getting on and rebuilding and getting back their lives again.
And in his new role, Mr. Craig is looking forward to making a difference as an advocate and educator about the risks posed by unexploded ordnance to civilians.
There will always be, unfortunately, these sort of remnants of war lying around, and the more people know and the more knowledge they have, the better they will be able to deal with it.